When Queen Elizabeth II died in 2022, it marked the end of the longest reign in British history. The Queen had 4 children: Charles, Anne, Andrew, and Edward, and from each of them branches a different corner of the royal story. Some remained at the center of tradition, living in palaces and country estates. Others have stepped away, even across the ocean, building lives far from the crown. And that's what we're exploring here. That is, where the British royals live now, and what those homes tell us about the future of the monarchy. So let us begin at the very top. His Majesty the King, upon taking over the crown, he would have moved into the Buckingham Palace, but he did not do that. There is a practical reason behind this. Buckingham Palace is in the middle of a 10-year, £369 million renovation project with scaffolding, rewiring, and restoration work everywhere. The palace is, however, still used for ceremonies and to carry out official duties of the monarchy. But in terms of daily life, the king lives at Clarence House, his base since 2003. Built in the 1820s, it has a long royal history. Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip lived here after their wedding, and later the Queen Mother made it her home for 50 years. When she died in 2002, Charles moved in, keeping much of her decor, portraits, carpets, porcelain, so the house feels more like a family home than a palace. But there is also a personal side that explains why the king prefers this place. Now, in his 70s and facing his own health challenges, he is said to prefer the smaller, more manageable residence where he can rest and recover away from the constant glare of public events. Reports suggest his cancer diagnosis has only strengthened his attachment to the Clarence House, making it unlikely that he will ever fully move into Buckingham Palace. This decision makes him the first monarch since Queen Victoria not to live inside Buckingham Palace as their primary home. But Clarence House is only one piece of the king's living map. Beyond London, Charles retreats often to Highgrove House. Highgrove is a sanctuary, a place for hedgerows, wildflower meadows, and carefully sculpted lawns that reflect his passion for the environment. Then there are other family estates whose custody was bestowed upon him following the death of the Queen. These are Sandringham Palace in Norfolk and Balmoral Palace in Scotland. He's only visited the 2 palaces once each time, but he remains attached to the Clarence House. From the king, we move down the hierarchy to his 2 children, Prince William and Prince Harry. For Prince William, the heir to the throne, his home is spread across several residences, each one serving a different role in his life as a future king, a husband, and a father. His main base today is Adelaide Cottage, a 4-bedroom house tucked within the private grounds of Windsor Castle in Berkshire, about 25 miles west of central London. From the air, it looks almost like a country-sized retreat wrapped in greenery, with the ancient castle looming not far away. William and Catherine moved here in 2022 with their 3 children, George, Charlotte, and Louise. The move was deliberate. The cottage is close to the children's school, and its modest scale gives them a quieter, more manageable family life. But William still holds apartment 1A at Kensington Palace in London. Don't let the word apartment fool you. It's a grand 20-room residence that once belonged to Princess Margaret. This is William and Catherine's official London home, the one tied to his role as heir. From the outside, Kensington Palace is all red brick symmetry, gardens, and history. From the inside, it remains the place for official duties, receptions, and London life. Then there's Anmer Hall in Norfolk. Their countryside retreat on the Royal Sandringham Estate, about 110 miles northeast of London. It's a large Georgian house surrounded by rolling fields and farmland. This is where the family retreats during holidays and long weekends, giving the children space to ride bikes, play outdoors, and grow up in a setting closer to nature. Each of these residences reflects the balance he's trying to strike. A future king who cannot leave tradition behind, but who's determined to raise his children in spaces that feel less like palaces and more like homes. From William, we move to his younger brother, Prince Harry. His story is very different because his home traces a journey away from tradition and eventually away from Britain itself. For years, Harry's base in the UK was Nottingham Cottage, often called Notcott, a small two-bedroom house tucked inside the grounds of Kensington Palace in London. From the outside, it looked simple, almost like a gardener's lodge compared to the grandeur around it. Yet it was here that Harry and Meghan first lived together after their marriage, their first royal home. Soon after, the Queen gifted them Frogmore Cottage, located in the grounds of Windsor Castle in Berkshire. This became their official residence as Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The house underwent a major taxpayer-funded renovation in 2019 before they moved in. But their time there was brief. After stepping back from royal duties in 2020, Harry and Meghan gave up the lease. Today, Frogmore Cottage is no longer theirs. Instead, their life has moved across the Atlantic. Since 2020, Harry and Meghan have lived in Montecito, California, a wealthy community near Santa Barbara, about 90 miles northwest of Los Angeles. Their home there is a sprawling 9-bedroom mansion set on 7 acres with sweeping lawns, a swimming pool, tennis court, and gardens framed by the California hills. From the air, it looks nothing like the royal estates of Britain, more Mediterranean villa than English manor. This shift from Nottingham Cottage to Frogmore to Montecito tells the story of Harry's break with the crown. His homes mark the steps of that journey, from a small lodge in Kensington to a royal gift in Windsor to a mansion across the ocean. From Harry, we move to the king's younger brother, Prince Andrew. His story is less about moving away from the monarchy and more about holding on, even as scandal has pushed him out of public life. Andrew's main residence is Royal Lodge. From the sky, it's an elegant country house with sweeping lawns, wooded drives, and stables. This is where he has lived ever since and where he continues to stay today. Despite losing his official duties and military titles, Andrew has kept this residence, making it his anchor as a royal without a role. The estate has become his private refuge, away from London but still within the orbit of Windsor. From Andrew, we move to his 2 daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Unlike their father, they are not working royals, but their homes show how they still remain close to the royal world while building lives of their own. Princess Beatrice lives at St. James Palace in London, one of the oldest royal residences, dating back to the 1500s. From above, the palace looks like a red brick fortress tucked just off Pall Mall, hidden in plain sight in the heart of the capital. Inside its historic walls, Beatrice shares a private apartment with her husband, Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi. Though the palace still hosts royal offices and receptions, Beatrice's space within it gives her the security of tradition, yet the convenience of city life. Her younger sister, Princess Eugenie, is based at Ivy Cottage, a small home on the grounds of Kensington Palace in London. From the outside, Ivy Cottage blends into the cluster of smaller homes that surround the palace, but its location could not be more royal. It places Eugenie, her husband Jack Brooksbank, and their 2 children within the same complex as William and Catherine's official London base. For a princess who has chosen to live without official duties, it is still a very symbolic address. From Andrew's daughters, we move to the youngest son of the Queen, Prince Edward. Edward and his wife Sophie live at Bagshot Park, a sprawling 120-room mansion set in the countryside of Surrey, about 30 miles southwest of London. From above, Bagshot looks like something out of a period drama: long driveways cutting through woodland, formal gardens wrapping around a grand Victorian house, and a vast estate that stretches into the green countryside. Originally built in the 1600s and rebuilt in the 1800s, it was once a hunting lodge for royalty. Today, it is Edward's base as he carries out his duties as Duke of Edinburgh. Finally, we come to the Queen's only daughter, Princess Anne. Known as the hardest working royal, Anne lives not in London but deep in the countryside, at Gatcombe Park in Gloucestershire, about 100 miles west of the capital. From above, Gatcombe looks less like a palace and more like a grand country estate. Rolling fields stretch across 700 acres of farmland, dotted with stables, paddocks, and riding tracks. Horses are everywhere here because for Anne, Gatcombe is not just a home, it's a working equestrian center. She hosts horse trials and country fairs on the grounds, blending her personal passion with the rhythms of rural life. Anne has lived at Gatcombe since the 1970s, when the estate was purchased by the Queen as a wedding gift. Over the decades, she has raised her children here, building a family life rooted in the countryside rather than the palaces of London. From above, the Queen's death didn't just pass a crown to her eldest son, it scattered her family across palaces, cottages, country estates, and even a Californian mansion. The map that once revolved around Buckingham Palace now stretches from the heart of London to the hills of Gloucestershire, from the highlands of Scotland to the coast of California. Each residence tells a story of tradition, of retreat, of independence, or of controversy.